Pranam Guruji. I have two questions. So my first question is I have heard many, even I'm in study group also, the ultimate goal of human, for any living thing is get mukti or moksha. So my question is related to, is this mukti or moksha is something does anyone attain after the death or while he is being in the alive in the body itself? Is there one in the past or present attain, if it can be possible to attain moksha within the body, is there anyone either in the past, in the present, attain that moksha? So if someone gets the moksha while alive, how that person would be what is that person's lifestyle, behavior and everything, how he will do? Even if I come across such a person at any point of time, how can I identify that person? Oh, this person is the one who got mukti or moksha.
So some 2-3 questions are there, right?
This is related to entirely about mukti and moksha. There is another question is all together.
Okay, the first question is moksha or mukti while living or after death? Correct?
Yes.
This is the first question. See, let us keep this in mind. Death will not give you anything. It is just cessation of the physical body. You don't gain anything by dying. Whatever you have attained while living, that alone will be there after death also. For example, suppose you have not conquered anger while living, don't think that after death you will conquer anger. You understood? Whatever you have now, the same thing will continue. Unless you have really put forth effort and conquered it, gained it, it is not yours. Just by dying, you don't get anything. Not only it is true with moksha or mukti, it is true with everything. If I want to conquer anger, can I say, Swamiji, anger can be conquered while living or after death? You understand what I am saying? Death is like sleep. Just by sleeping, you don't get anything. So, anything has to be gained while living. If you have gained while living, then only you have gained. Death, really speaking, has no meaning. Death is nothing but end of physical body. Is that clear?
Yeah.
Moksha is nothing but gaining knowledge. So, gaining knowledge, has it to be done while living or after death?
While living.
While living. So, therefore, moksha mukti means what? Freedom. Freedom from what? Freedom from limitation, freedom from all these negativities, freedom from anxiety, fear, etc. When are you supposed to gain freedom? While living or after death?
While
living. Everything has to be gained while living only. So moksha is something, it has to be gained while living. Answer the first question? Okay. Second question. What is that?
So is there anyone get moksha in the...
Is there anyone who is liberated while living, is the question.
Yes.
Bhagavan himself says, Bahavo jnana tapasa puta madbhava magata. In the 4th chapter, Bhagavan himself says, very many. And if you see, Bhagavad Gita was written 5,000 years back. Even today, if this book is with us, what does it mean? Very many generations have benefited from it and have passed on this knowledge, correct? Otherwise, nothing can remain 5,000 years. Even the most popular Bollywood, Hollywood movie songs also, after 1 or 2 years is gone. Just imagine something remaining for thousands and Bhagavad Gita is just 5,000 years. What about the Upanishads? Even more. So the very fact that these scriptures are available to us, that itself shows that very many have benefited from it. They have gained it. Therefore, they have passed it on to the next generation. In fact, as you are practicing in our own life also, we will see a drastic change when we are living the path shown by the scriptures. So the answer is yes. But the question is, can I recognize? The answer is no. Because it is absolutely subjective. The change, the transformation is very, very subjective. By external behavior also many times you will not be able to find out. Bhagavan Shankaracharya himself says in one of the place commentary that this is one thing which is subjective, nobody can know. But even then, as you evolve spiritually, you are able to recognize. So the only way to recognize is you become an enlightened person. Then you will know. It is exactly like an expert musician will know who is another expert musician, isn't it? Only a musician will know the greatness of another musician. Only a sports person will know the greatness of... Yes. The one who has climbed the peak of the mountain, he knows what it is to climb the peak. So in the same way, a person who is realized, he will recognize. But even then he may also get deluded. There is no guarantee. There is a possibility. Because if you say no, an enlightened person should be like this. If you define, you will find that there will be a lot of enlightened people who will not be like that. Suppose you say, enlightened person should not cry. If you see Bhagwan Ramchandra ji, he cried like anything. If you see when Sita was, when Sita Mata was kidnapped, he cried like anything. Like an ordinary, worldly, infatuated person. In the movie theater also, if you see, we many times cry, isn't it? Seeing the movie. Does it mean that we are totally deluded and we have forgotten ourselves? No. So, not crying or not getting affected, no, that is also not a definition. It is possible that you are crying and still untouched. It is possible. So the point is this, how will I know? You will not know about others. But how will I know about myself? Yes, there is a way. Prajahati yada kaman sarvan partha manogatan atmanyevatmana tushtaha sthita prajnastatojyate. This question which you are asking, how will he talk? How will he sit? How will he behave? The same question was asked by Arjuna also. In Bhagavad Gita, 2nd chapter. Sthita prajnasya ka bhasha samadhistasya keshava sthitadi kim prabhasheta kimasita vrajeta kim. This is the question asked by Arjuna. So in the beginning, you are fascinated by a person who is liberated. So these are the questions we ask. How does he sit? How does he stand? How does he talk? So then a big answer is given. And the essence of this answer is this. Prajahati yada kaman sarvan partha manogatan. The sign is, this person is totally desireless. And where does he revel then? Atmanyeva atmana tushta. He is reveling in his own self. This is the sign of enlightenment. He is totally independent. He doesn't depend on anything, being or situation for happiness. He is happy in himself. This is the sign. Now you will recognize about yourself whether you are desiring something or not. But you cannot tell anything about others. Because it's very subjective. Yes or no? Whether I have a desire or not, who will know? Only I will know. Another person thing you may not know. You may guess. Of course, the gross people you can easily understand. But as evolution goes on, it becomes very difficult. And we need not know also who is enlightened, who is not enlightened. Why should we unnecessarily go on giving certificate to others? It is not our business. Our business is, let us improve ourselves. That's all what is needed.
The second subject is like you said that like death will not give anything.
Yes.
So, but and we will retain whatever we have gained in the knowledge, right? The similar subject, right? Why don't human beings doesn't have awareness of awareness of its previous birth? So, is it fundamental flaw in the design? Like whatever, like if I know what is the mistakes I have done and suffered because of the consequences, whatever the good deeds I have done and benefited the benefited the consequence of the good deeds. I will continue I will avoid the same mistakes in this life. I will continue the same good deeds in this life. But I don't have a clue or what I am there. Even I don't have any remembrance of. Then how can I continue? Even if, for example, in this today I came to a Chinmaya Mission. I have learned few chapters of the Kindle Life or study group. For example, like if anyone such person suddenly passes away due to a misfortune, if I take the next birth, I have to come to again from the start learning from chapter 1. So what is the use of it? Like if I don't remember anything, repeating the same thing from the zero itself. Like when I reach something and death taken away and starting from the zero, when I will get the peak of it, like when I will get the moksha, the same cycle repeating.
So I think there are two questions. Question number one, why is it that we are not able to remember our past? Correct? All the experience of the past. Many births we have already gone through. Why is it that we are not able to remember? Is it a flaw in creation? This is the first question. The second question is, if we could have remembered, we could have, started from where we have left from the past, instead of starting from zero. Correct? So see, answering the first question, it is not a flaw in the creation, rather it is a compassion of the Lord that we are not able to remember our past. Just imagine, confusions in this life itself, I am finding it difficult to handle. All the mistakes which I have done, blunders which I have done, atrocities which I have done, infinite past. Just imagine if you are remembering all that, what will be your state of mind? Isn't it? And even the relationship also. Remember, the people around you, you have developed a kind of attachment. These are the same people who are going to be born again and again around you. For example, last time this particular Jivatma was my mother, now the very same Jivatma in this birth is my wife. How will I deal with that person? Suppose you are remembering all that. Will you deal with that person as a mother or a wife? Just imagine the confusion. You understood? This is with respect to relationship. With respect to guilt feeling. Something you must have done in the past, and that guilt is eating you, and the death puts an end to it. Now you can start afresh without that guilt. Just imagine if you are remembering all that. You are continuing that baggage. It's
a burden.
Huh?
It's a burden.
It's a burden. Right? And always remember, your past was always inferior. You are at your best in your present. Why? Because constantly we are learning lessons and evolving. Constantly we are evolving. We commit a mistake, we suffer, we introspect, and then we correct our understanding, and then we further move on in life. So what does it mean? Constantly we are evolving. So whatever your past is, it must be inferior or superior to the present?
Inferior.
It is inferior. Then why should you dig into the past to know something inferior what you have done? Not necessary. As far as the lessons are concerned, it has been God's great compassion that whatever lessons you have learned, it remains intact with you. Though you may not be remembering the experience, but the lessons remains with you as samskara. For example, in your profession, there is a wonderful opportunity to take bribe, let us say. But something from within says that, no, I should not do it. Another person says, no, let us take it. Extra money. Something from within is saying, no, I should not do it. What is that? Which is preventing you from yielding to temptation. It is nothing but the lessons learned in the past. Somewhere in your past you had taken bribe. You have suffered the consequences. And a deep impression was sent in that no, illegal money should not be taken because it will only destroy me. That lesson you have learned. You are not remembering that past, the incident, but that message is learned. What is the proof that you have learned that lesson? You are just not able to take that bribe. Are you able to understand? Okay. Bhagavan himself has said, Parthanaiveha namutra. What is that? Vinashastasya vidyate. Nahi kalyana krit kaschit durgatim tatagachat. The same question was asked by Arjuna also. Bhagavan, I put forth effort and suddenly before I realize the self, I die. So won't my condition be like that? The clouds which are shattered by the wind. Again I have to start from afresh. Bhagavan says, no. You just start from where you have left. So whatever you have gained, it is never lost. Then what happens to that? Yoga bhrashta, that's the term used, yoga bhrashta. Prapya punyakritam lokan ushitva shashati samaha shuchinam srimatam gehe yoga bhrashtaha abhijayate. He goes to the higher worlds, the yoga bhrashtas. Remain there in that Swargadi lokas and then comes back. And where is he born? In a very cultured, prosperous family he is born in order to continue his journey. So we need not worry at all that everything will be lost. No, everything will be empty.
Okay, thank you.
Right, Hari Om.
Hari Om Swamiji, pranams.
Shift one so that... Yes.
Hari Om. We are from Tattva Bodha class and this question came in our internal discussions in the class. So we are learning about Viveka and discrimination, permanent and impermanent and so on. I think this question maybe half answer you gave in the previous discussion for the answer for the previous question. So whenever we hit some hardship in our life, most of us, maybe including myself and most of us in general, we forget about Viveka. So how do we remind ourselves, hey, we hit the hardship, now we learned about Viveka, let's show that here, so that we can process that. So any tips from you for us? And also another relative question is, thanks for answering the previous question. You mentioned about we don't carry over the previous, what are the memories? But the vasanas are coming with us. So I think you mentioned that because it's not lost anywhere. So maybe my discrimination, my viveka is maybe lowered because of my vasanas as well. So how would we consider that, and how to make ourselves aware in these situations as well? Because maybe this discrimination is not applying because of my vasanas, so let me be aware of my vasana so that I could be applying my viveka. So thanks for taking my question.
So here the question is, see, we know many things, we know I should not do this, I should not do that, but when that situation comes, that hardship comes, I forget everything. I hope you are clear with the question. See, first of all, we have to understand knowledge is of three types. Though we use the term knowledge, there are three types. The first is mere information. You have heard, you have read. Shravana Janita Jnanam. Knowledge gained by just listening, just reading. So that is not knowledge, it is nothing but an information in you. You are informed, that's all. The second stage is through mananam. You reflect upon it. You think about it. Some doubts are there. You thoroughly reflect, and then what happens to this information? The very same information becomes conviction. It is a doubtless knowledge. You are convinced, yes, I have thought about it, yes, I fully believe that it is true. It's called as intellectual conviction. So first stage was information. The second stage is conviction. Now, once you are convinced, you have to apply it in your life. That is very, very important. Mere conviction alone will not do. There are very many doctors who know that smoking is injurious to health, but still they continue to smoke. So what is lacking in them? Information? No, information they have. Conviction? No, they very well know. Smoking will, create what are the problems. They can give a big lecture on what all things can happen when we smoke. But still the fellow is smoking. So what is lacking there? Practice. You have to apply it. Only when you apply your knowledge will it become wisdom. So what is the difference between knowledge and wisdom? Yes, when you work on it, when you transform yourself, when you digest that knowledge by working hard, by struggling with your weaknesses, negativities, imperfections, there is a struggle involved, and then in this struggle, in this auspicious environment of struggle, the knowledge transfers into wisdom. So what is wisdom? Wisdom is a digested knowledge. Your personality has been transformed. So there are 3 stages in which the knowledge remains in you. The first stage is just an information. It's of no use. Second stage, conviction. Little better. But the third stage is transformation. So which knowledge will help me during my hardship? Information? It will just vaporize. Conviction? It will stay a little, but again it will vaporize. But the transformed knowledge, the wisdom, it will remain with you. Do you understand what I am saying? So during hardship, why is it that my knowledge is not with me? It simply means that knowledge has not yet been digested, assimilated properly. And the way is application of that knowledge at the relevant occasions. The more and more you have to remember, application means struggling. Giving up your past habits, bad habits, wrong way of thinking, giving it up and taking up the new way. Consciously cultivating it, making it a habit, working hard, struggling against all your habitual wrong ways. Then a time comes when that knowledge is transformed into wisdom. The wisdom will remain with you. It is yours. Did I answer?
Yes.
Okay.
Hari Om Swamiji, on the same topic, Tattvabodha, after Viveka we come to Vairagya. So normally when we take Vairagya, we say dispassion in general. But does it also mean that you are indifference or insensitive to happenings, what is happening around you? Or you take it as a normal thing, or you react to what is happening around you? And what is the difference between dispassion and reacting to the surroundings, happenings?
So the question is about Vairagya, dispassion. A lot of confusions are there in this one term. So we have to understand there are 3 types of Vairagya. One is Tamasic Vairagya. The second is Rajasic Vairagya, and the third is Sattvic Vairagya. What are they? What is Tamasic Vairagya? You see, in Tamas there is always ignorance, Ajnana. Let me give an example. There is this junk food which is very tasty. Okay? Now this person is not at all affected by it. He is not tempted to eat. Why? He doesn't know that it's tasty. For the first time he is seeing it. And this person is standing there unaffected. Everybody else is tempted to eat. This person is unaffected. Don't think that he is a great Vairagi. He doesn't know the value of it. It may appear externally that he has Vairagya. It is not Vairagya. It is Ajnana. So it is Ajnana Janita Vairagya. Vairagya born out of ignorance. You give $100 note in front of a small child, a baby. The child has no value. It will just put it in his mouth. It doesn't know. That is not Vairagya at all. Understood? So this is called as Tamasic Vairagya. Then there is a Rajasic Vairagya. Food is there. Normally he loves it, but at that time he has fever, his stomach is upset. Then also he will express a kind of, I don't want. Why he doesn't want? But otherwise you love it. Why is it you are not? at present I am not in a situation to enjoy. So there is an exceptional situation where I am not able to enjoy. That is called as a rajasic vairagya. Understood? Vairagya means what? I am not interested in it. Now a third one, it is called as sattvic vairagya. What is sattvic vairagya? Remember, sattva is always connected with knowledge. He knows what it is. It is a junk food. He knows that in the beginning I will be very, very happy with it because it's very tasty. But also he has a knowledge. What is the knowledge? After eating it, I will have to go through the consequences. And the consequences is painful. A little joy in the end, permanent pain in, a little joy in the beginning, permanent pain in the end. So what is he seeing there? He is seeing everything. The initial pleasure also and the final pain also. Then comes a vairagya. Better not to have it. Because in the long run, it is not good for me. It's not that he is not seeing the pleasure. He knows, if I indulge, I will be happy for some time, no doubt. But in the end, I am going to suffer. So this is jnana janita vairagya, or rather, viveka janita vairagya. Vairagya born out of viveka. He has right understanding. This vairagya is what is mentioned in our scriptures. Is it clear? Right. Hari Om.
Hari Om, Swamiji. You've already answered some of the question actually. Viveka Janita Vairagya. Can you help us understand what are the relative sadhanas we can follow in our daily life in order to improve this? And also one way of Vairagya is out of sight, out of mind. Right? Why is moving away from objects of attachment, hence getting it out of the mind, not the right step towards the Viveka Janita Vairagya?
So there are two questions, I think. What is the practical way of cultivating Vairagya? Develop Viveka. That is the way. Go through it, go through the consequences and be painfully aware of the consequence. Not just aware. Should be painfully. Junk food only you take. When that suffering comes after eating junk food, don't escape that suffering. How do we escape? Switch on the television. See something on the internet. There is a pain. You want to distract your attention from the pain because that is pain. So when you distract your attention from pain, you don't learn any lesson. But when you consciously make the mind go through the pain, that mind gets educated. Oh my God, I shouldn't have done this. I shouldn't have eaten this. Next time I should be careful. Make the mind go through the pain. Next time when that junk food is there, what will the mind remember? The joy of eating or the pain after eating? Why? Because consciously you have made the mind go through it. You have tempted me, now go through it. The pain, the suffering, that heaviness, whatever, sickness, disease, go through it. The mind becomes educated. This is the way to cultivate Vairagya. Mind should see the reality. Never distract the attention of the mind when it is face to face with the reality. Make it go through it. It will get educated. Right? That answers the first question. What is the second one? Why not?
Out of sight, out of mind.
Out of sight, out of mind. Can it be called Vairagya? That object is not in front, therefore that object is no more tempting me. Can you call it Vairagya? It's not Vairagya. Vairagya is the object is in front, dancing in your front, tempting you, but you are not affected. That is true Vairagya. But for the beginners, this out of sight, out of mind, we recommend. In Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan says, Tasmat tum indriyanyado niyamya bharatarshava. It is the first aid. I know that I will be tempted if that object is in front. So better keep myself away. I know I am weak. In front of that, I don't have the strength to withstand? If I know that, why unnecessarily go and expose yourself? So therefore, keep away, keep a safe distance. That is what is recommended for the seekers, for the beginners.
Hari Om Swamiji. So, in our Kindle Life class, we had this question coming up for the chapter, The Dual Path, which Guruji had given us. So, Guruji says we have two different paths to take, two choices basically. So, one is like the path of Shreya and other is the path of Preya. So, Shreya is like the path of the good and Preya is like the path of the, So, how do we determine which path to actually choose from? Because sometimes what we think is like in our day-to-day life, like when we take decisions while choosing the path, so sometimes we think like Shreya, this particular decision-making process, this particular path that I'm going to take is the path of Shreya. Then maybe after a couple of months or maybe even after a year, we get to know that this was not actually the right path for us. And it turns out to be the path of Preya. And then again we go into another decision-making process to choose between the right and the wrong. So how do we determine it?
See, let us accept this fact of life. We learn only by committing mistakes. This is the way. This is how the world is designed. A child learns to walk. How? By falling many times. You say, no, my child should not fall. He should immediately, from the womb, he should walk. Just not possible. Not possible. So let us be practical. We have to fall many times, and every fall, every mistake we commit, this cosmos is designed to correct us. Any person who is alert, aware, vigilant, this cosmos is designed to correct us. So what will happen? You will take a wrong decision. As a result of wrong decision, you will suffer. What happens when you suffer? You introspect. What happens when you introspect? You come to know, oh, this is the place where I have made a mistake. I should have done this. I should have done that. I shouldn't have done this. Correct? Next, what happens? You correct your understanding. And with that corrected understanding, you further perform action. You see the sequence? And after action, you get reaction from the cosmos. This reaction, if it is good, if it is conducive, you said, yes, my decision is right. And then you move forward. So what is the proof that I have made some mistake? I am disturbed internally and I disturb others also. And the cosmos is designed to correct me through pain. Whenever I make a mistake, the cosmos will give me pain. Pain at the mind level, pain from the environment level. Right? So don't worry. At that time, what do you think is Shreyas? What is right? Just do it. At that time. But later on, if you find that it is wrong, correct it. This is the way. And always you will find that as you evolve spiritually, your intellect's ability to take decision also starts improving. Purer the intellect, better the decision you make. In the beginning, there are certain grey areas which you are not very clear. Not clearly black and white. No problem, you continue. But as the intellect becomes purer and purer, that intellect is able to clearly tell you what is right and what is wrong. In the beginning, it doesn't happen. And you will always find, as you evolve, your definition of what is Shreyas and what is Preyas, it will keep changing. With a greater light, more brilliant light of the intellect, things start becoming more and more clear. So earlier you thought it was Shreyas, but today in your evolved state, in your better understanding, you come to know, I thought it was Shreyas, actually it was Preyas. You understood? So it is a constant evolving process. It's a journey. For example, earlier I thought selfless service is Shreyas, and that is ultimate. But slowly as you evolve, you find that I am doing selfless service, but there is an expectation. An expectation of award, reward, recognition. Actually, I am selflessly serving only to boost my ego, so that others will say, what a great man, what a great man. You understood? Earlier you never knew. Now that very same selfless action is not a punya karma, it is a papa karma. You understood? Earlier you were never able to detect that ego. Now, in your mature understanding, you are able to detect. So then you make correction. You understand? This is the way. So, this is absolutely natural, nothing to worry. Just keep doing what you feel right at that state of evolution, at that moment. That's all what is needed. All right, Hari.
We learned that we in this janma we should exhaust our karmas and both punya and pap karmas, and that what leads to the ultimate. Now, we have various paths like bhakti and jnana and karma yoga, and as a seeker we pick up whatever works during the day, during the life. Now, the expectations of the family or people around. If a person is able to kind of exhaust the karmas, the expectation of the people surrounding or the sansar, do they bind the person? Because the jiva may itself try to free, but the outer forces, can those bind the jiva from liberation?
First of all, you should be clear about the definition of what is bondage. Will the external environment bind this person is the question. What is bondage according to you?
So bondage is basically the antakaran, that is that four, mand, buddhi, chitta, ahankar, that four is what binds us to the various situations in the world.
See, the antakaran doesn't bind you. They are only instruments.
Okay.
Instruments will never bind you. So what is bondage? So this definition has to be very clear. That state of helplessness where I am helplessly worrying, helplessly anxious, helplessly stressed, helplessly miserable, helplessly unhappy. That is called as bondage. You understood? I don't want misery, but I am miserable. I want happiness, but I am not able to be happy. This is called as bondage. Let that term bondage, let us clearly understand what it is. See, first understand physical bondage. A person is tied to the pole. A pole. So what is bondage in that? Physical bondage. He is not able to move. So he wants to be free, but he is not free. He wants to be independent, but he is dependent. He has no freedom, correct? So if bondage is defined as lack of freedom, we are talking of a psychological bondage in spirituality. When we say bondage, bandhanam, what is it? It's a psychological bondage. What is a psychological bondage? There are so many emotions which I don't want, but I am helplessly going through it. You understood? So now, can family bind me? Not at all. It is not the family, the husband, the wife, the children, the responsibility, family No, they are not the ones who are binding. My wrong connection which I have made with them is what is binding me. For example, husband is there, children are there. I am unhealthily attached to them. Then that will create a lot of trouble for me. So it is not the children who are creating trouble, it is a wrong connection which I have made, the wrong relationship which I have made, wrong expectations from them. This is what is binding me.
Sorry. So the expectations of the family to me, or anybody for that matter, does that bind? I may not be. So if I or anybody spiritually grows to an extent that that person is kind of withdrawn, but does the expectations of the society, world, still binds that person?
Where is this expectation? In whose mind? In your mind or in others' mind?
Mind.
Others' mind, correct?
Yes.
So they are expecting something from you. Correct? So who will be miserable? You are very clear. You are beautifully doing your responsibilities, fulfilling your responsibilities as a worship of the Lord. Correct? You are doing it as a worship of the Lord. And naturally, since it's a worship of the Lord, you are beautifully doing it. Your words are sweet. Your actions are sweet. Correct? So, as far as you are concerned, you are very, very happy. Why are you bothering about what others are expecting from you? You are doing your best as a worship. Your life is joyous. Please remember, you cannot satisfy everyone. It's just not possible. And you need not also. Your job is only one. Is my Lord happy? That's all. If you have done your job perfectly well, as best as you can, as a worship, as an instrument of the Lord, you will find that your heart is bubbling with joy. Why are you bothered about the nonsense that is happening in others' minds?
Okay. All right. So this we are in the Gita chapter 2 class, and this is in context of that. So in this context, Arjuna didn't want to fight in the chapter 1, and he's telling why he doesn't want to fight. In chapter 2, Lord Krishna started explaining why he should, right? So one of the questions I have seems kind of unjustified to me. I have gone through this many times in my life, but I just want to ask this question now. The Lord says, indeed, Satan is death for the born, and Satan is birth for the dead. Therefore, over the inevitable, you should not grieve. So, with my narrow mind, what I understood is, well, these people are going to die one day anyway, why don't you kill them today? And I do not find that is justified, because many people who came there, they also did not want to fight because they are there because their kings called them, And we also have Kauravas who didn't agree with what Duryodhana did, right? So I just want to understand that a little bit more.
See, here we have to see the bigger picture. Don't take only that verse and see the meaning. Many times people, quoting out of context. So we have to understand, Bhagavan is giving reasons to fight from different standpoint. The first, he takes the highest standpoint. The Supreme Self has no death. It is only the body which is going to die. So therefore you need not grieve. Arjuna, from the standpoint of your Swadharma also you must fight. So various standpoints are taken. One among the various standpoints is this. Arjuna, you say that I will not fight because they all will die. Anyway they will die. Nobody is going to remain permanent in this world. Whether they fight or the old age will take their life. That is the way you have to understand. It is not that you must fight because anyway they are going to die. No. You understood? So that will be taking out of context. He is giving weight. In fact, this is the Charvaka version. The lowest philosophy. From a very worldly standpoint also. Anyone who is born will be dying. So why are you giving too much of importance to death? That is the point here. Anyway, everybody has to die. So it is far better die for a noble cause. Why do you want to die like crops? That aspect has to be understood. Where is the emphasis? Emphasis is not that, anyway they are going to die, therefore kill them. Understood?
Thank you.
Right.
Hari Om Swamiji. My question was, how do we understand this concept of the physical attributes getting passed on from one birth to another birth, given that we understand that Atman is the only one that is transcending from one birth to another birth, but Atman doesn't have any, it's only a witness, it doesn't have anything physical. But how do we understand this concept of the karmas or the samskaras or even the physical attributes? Like, for example, if you say a child is born with some congenital disease, and then we say that's because of its past karma maybe. So it's almost as if somewhere we have it stored and then we are retrieving it in another birth and bringing it along. So how do we understand this concept?
It is stored in the Sukshma Sharira, Karana Sharira, etc. It's there. And based on that, everything comes. The question is, where is it stored?
Where is it stored and how is it coming? I mean,
So you are thinking like a scientist, there is a bag, everything is put there. You see, who are you? Absolute you. Atman. What is the size of Atman? You are infinite consciousness. You are not a jiva, one dot light somewhere. No. You are infinite consciousness and the whole world is a projection on you. You are just projecting this world. So where is the world? You are in the world or world is in you?
you are in the world.
You are infinite consciousness.
Oh, okay.
And the world is a projection of your mind upon this consciousness.
Okay.
So where are you? Are you in the world or the world is in you?
So the world is in you.
Yes. Now ask this question.
Okay.
When you are saying where is it stored, somewhere you are thinking that I am in this world. Some bundle of asana is there and it is stored somewhere. You understood? The whole world is in you. Who are you? Infinite consciousness. Try to think this way. Then suddenly you will lose all this, value for desha, kala, everything. It is just a projection like a dream. Everything is there in that dream mind. The mind is existing in you, the consciousness, infinite consciousness. Think that way and the whole perspective will change. Don't think yourself as a body in the world. No, you are not. That is a wrong notion. Right knowledge cannot come from wrong notion. Right knowledge can come only from right understanding. This is the understanding. I am infinite consciousness and the world is just a projection of the mind. Then things become clear.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayah Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om